Good morning. We are Siman Kuf Mem Hey. Got up to Sif Hey. That's what Gershon told me last night. I think so. To three Sif Dalet. Okay, fine. Sif Dalet. Evan shechatzva la'avda. There's an Evan which you took out of the ground, or you carved out, whatever it is, whatever, someone, of the Asura Bahana, which was, taken care of, whatever, what's the word for it? It was shaped, it was shaped, it was whatever, hewed is the good word, yeah. Chisel, there you go, yeah. Asura Bahana, it's also Bahana, Haisa Chatsuva, if it was already, Vitzira Vakaida, and you went ahead and you made it all fancy and painted it and drew on it, whatever, Shetiave, someone should worship it. Afilu Tzir Vikiyad Begufa Evan, even if you went ahead, it wasn't just like you covered it with something and then went ahead and painted on or etched in the actual Evan. You could take off the outer layer, that what you added on. There's someone, whoever it is, who Asar Bahana. That outer layer is Asar Bahana, V'shahar Evan, Motor, but the rest of the Evan is Motor. Avodas Chachavim, the Mahani Bittul, and the Avodah Zara, that Bittul would work. Afilu Lo Nato Misham, Rak Mashetzir, Motor. And Avodah Zara, which is the Hani Bittul, meaning that of a non-Jew. So then all he does is he needs to take off, even if he just took off the decorations or the drawing, that's enough to mevatel it. Motor imaso derech bittul. If he did it derech bittul, he did it to take it off, not to fix it up. Okay, Evan shehemir aleha elilim. If you have a stone that they put Solomon shalovi kachavim. That Evan is going to be also Bahana. Kozban Shehi Aleha, right? I mean, you can't sit on it. A Silka, they took it off, Evan Muteris, then the Evan is going to be Muter to sit on, to stand on it, or whatever. Vav, Ilan Shenato Imitchila Shehei Ne'evad. The tree which was planted originally, so it would be worshipped. Also Bahana, that tree is always also Bahana. Ha'ilan natua, if it was already planted, v'gadoi u'pasloi, and they trimmed it, ablashem elilim, afilu hivrich v'hirki v'gufo shel ilan, even if they put new branches in, they were grafted new branches on, v'hotzi srigim, and they started growing, chorus is a srigim, you cut off the new branches, v'heim asurin, those are asur, v'hanak, if they had kavanah, those branches would be for Asherah, for Avodah Zarah, then you cut them off, and the rest of the tree will mutter, and the rest of the tree will be mutter.
Because by their cutting it down, it was different.
Well, no, because there's still the branches are still aser. The thing is, the tree's already grown. They can't aser something which is mechuber lekarka, unless it was planted for that. Right. But then, no, that's the first one. The second thing is if you have an Ilan Atua. Yeah, that's already only Ilan Atua. Ilan Shemamid in Tachta Velilim, an Ilan that they put the what's it called? The Shach says it's talking about a tree which was planted to put a statue underneath it. Kolzvan Shehi Tachtav Aser Bahana. As long as it's underneath, it's also Bahana. It also has a Shem Asherah. Not bitachta, but if you take it away, if someone takes it away, because it's not the tree, it's just they made the tree connected to the, it's like noi or whatever, so then once it's gone, then the tree is mutter bahana.
In the previous case, the salo, the shem, and the lim, talking about the tree the part that was cut off, or they're carving the remaining into an elil. What's the case there?
No, the case is they trimmed it. Well, yeah, they trimmed it and to worship it. Meaning they did something to it. They made a fancy shape.
Comes by and now trims it or shapes it or does whatever for the purpose of specific
to worship.
The part that remains in the ground.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Zayin, Afa Bisha Karka Olam Eno Sorry, a person can bow down to the karka, it doesn't become Aser. Even also Maisa, if they did some sort of Maisa to it, could go and Shchafer Babar Sichel Ma'aros, they make caves or things for Avodah Zarah, or let's say they carved, they took and made a mound and made a Avodah Zarah out of it, whatever it is, the Lilim Nesar, that ground becomes Aser. It's just like in Choshen Mishpat. It says that there's no, that someone who's shomer on karka says that, okay, that or there's no such thing as being mazik karka, but it's Machlokas Rambam Ravid, but the Rambam says if a person digs big holes in things and whatever, then it would be then it is called being mazik. So there is such a thing as being mazik, can be such a thing as being mazik karka. As doing something to the ground, which will make it, which will change it from karka to regular karka.
And if a Jew did it, it'd be also the Olam, forever and ever in that place.
You see, I don't know if you know a Jew did it. I mean, at some point, if there's a yichus to it, if you know a Jew did it, then l'chara, that would be. Though I'm not. Meichel, sure. You have to look into it a little bit more about whether this is a Duraban or Deraisa. The Jews only by Deraisa, but this might be Duraban. I'm not sure. This might only be Duraban, so then I don't know. Whatever. You have to look into it and open the sugya, I think. Ches Bali Chaim Eina Ne'asarim. Bali Chaim can't become Asar. Shafilu Shtachv LeBehema Shalo. Even if someone bows to his own animal, Lo Ne'asra. It doesn't become Asr. So, for example, in India, they're mechabed the cows. The truth is, they don't really bow to them. They're mechabed them because they're reincarnated. They let them walk through the building room, whatever it is.
They consider them deities.
They can they're
gestures.
Right. But they're not. But they don't not over the cows. They're just mechabed them. Right. That's it. Right. Also.
Holy and holy are two different things.
Well, they consider it holy because it's a reincarnation.
A reincarnation of whatever, or the.
Bottom line is what Gil was saying is they're not neva. They're not physically worshipped. The animals are not bowed to. They're not. There's no yayin nesach. They're not giving it karbanos.
Right. It's not like in Mitzrayim they worship the tleh. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. However, even still, that animal doesn't become aser. Even if it was never, I'm saying you should know, but as information. But let's say, right, if it's in Mitzrayim, the Mitzri would bow down to his sheep, so it still doesn't become aser. Also, Meiser, but he did a Meiser, sheshachta lilim, he took his animal and he shechted it to lilim. Afilu simin echad, even if he just cut a little bit to kill it, the nesra, it does become aser. Afilu ena shaloi, even if it's not his animal. But V'dafka ovi kachavim oitzu davar she'ena shelo. V'dafka a goy has the ability to ask for something which is not his, teres avodah zarah. Aval Yisrael eino oitzer oitzer shel chavero. He can't ask for something of his friends. Shavada eino machavet el letzaro. It's interesting. Technically, so we're saying we're as an umdana here. It's not really worshiping avodah zarah. It's more likely that he's trying to get back. He's trying to be tzar of his friend. And to go ahead and to do avodah zarah or not. Even if he has a shutf, if he has a chelik in it, oiser, can't aser it because it's only a shutfus. If you sell mumaru, whether it's Yisrael mumar as a mashumid to avodah zarah, not talking about these, or he's a mummer to avodah zarah, or he's, not talking about he's a mummer to go to Burger King or something. Oh, shehithrubo, or they gave a hasra, a kibel hasra, meaning he's chai visa and he's bekabel the hasra. Harei oiser. Then he does asra because we see clearly that he intends to actually worship avodah zarah. Right. Takovas Balichayim, Shamsheim, Ne'asarim, Takrevis, Balichayim, and their Mishamshim are they do become also. You can ask someone else's thing by taking it and putting it on avodah zarah. That you can, that they can do.
Where's the Tikrovis Balachai? They give a Tikrovis to the Balachai, He brings a live sheep to the
Avodah Zarah, right? If that's the derech avoda, Nagid. The derech avoda is to bring the sheep, not to shecht it, but to bring the sheep in front of it, and I don't do whatever. Do whatever. That would call it takrevis. I've even said before that if he shecht it, then then definitely. But what? That if you put it, the takrevis? No, I don't think there's a machlokes. I think all I think is that the Rama is just pointing, is just adding. I don't think it is. Oh, you're saying takrov? Maybe you're right. Takrov. You're right. Right. All right.
Otherwise, it's not a.
Yeah, you're right. I misunderstood for a second. Right. So if you brought a takrovis to a Baal Chai, right, then even if the animal itself never becomes aser, but the takrovis or they decorated the animal, then it would become aser. Test afapisha balichaim einan nesarim, even though balichaim don't become aser. Im hichlif balichaim be'elilim. If they were machlif, they did the chalipin. A balichaim for elilim. The guy had a cow, had a sheep, and he's okay. Listen, I want to buy this elil. I want to buy you the statue. It was machlif it for the statue. Nesru of a chalifi chalipin. But if he went ahead and he traded the statue of he traded his car for an avodah zarah, right? Then he traded his car for a donkey, right, or camel. So then chalifi could go shehichlif balichaim, but chalifi over alililim mutarim, because the pasuk says who kicherim who v'lo chalifi. It's machlokes in the Gemara. But we yesh oisin gam bezeh. So the machlokes on say we paskin, we don't make the drasha, and it's teifa and chalipin the dvei avodah zarah is nitfas and all the chalipin, just like by shmita, and therefore it would stay also. Obviously, it's a shayla deraisa. This is what. And the Gemara says that Hagufa, this is Yesh Oisvim, says since it's a Machlokes and it's Deraisa, you should be Machmer. But I guess it's always Klal in the Mechaber is Stam v'Yesh. You go after the I think you go after Stam, but you can be Machmer like the Yesh. Maybe I'm confused. I'll leave that. All right, Kuf Ben Vav. Elilim she'ove kochavim shebitla. If you have elilim of a goy that he was mevatel shebitla ove kochavim muteres, then that pesel becomes motor. Yisrael any yochel levatel elilim she'ove kochavim. Yisrael can't mevatel elilim of a goy. Kol shekain she'Yisrael. Kol shekain Yisrael. She'ein la bittul alamis. The other Yisrael can't come and say, it's bottle. And even if the goy has a shutfus in it, right? It doesn't help for the chelik Yisrael, so therefore it doesn't become bottle. We'll see later on how you mevatel it. I'll just. I don't remember. That was said before. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's only Zerubbanan, but I'm not sure. The question will be, and we'll see as we go along how you mevatel it. But I'll leave the question up in the air for now. Is they do archaeological digs and they find psalim, right? So and you want to display them in a museum. Can you get hana from displaying them in the museum? Is that getting hana from the avodah zarah? Or do we say these avodah zarahs are bottle because everyone who worshipped them died? So or even Israel. I mean, if let's say an archaeologist here finds I'm sure they found psalim, and they say, there was this is matim the pesel of Yisrael. Would that listen? There's no yichus on it. It's only a hashva. So but al chapanim, would that be also or not? Or you'd say since it says Yisrael's also alamis. So if the whole generation died, and the generation from 2,000 years ago was that called batal? We'll go through. We'll see. But just leaving the question up in the air for now. Beis afilu elilim she'avi kachavim mishabar liyad Yisrael, even elilim of a goy which came to the hands of Yisrael was zachaba, and he did a kinyan on it. Or the shach said, the Bach quotes the shach who says, the shach quotes the Bach who says even if it's a mitzia and he was geizelit, like let's say like Rachel Amenu, shuv ein la bittul. These things won't have bittul. V'hanim yili alilim atzman. That's if they took the actual alilim. Aval mishamshe alilim. But any of the mishamshim, v'noya in boli ad Yisrael v'achakach bitla ovi kachavim. Yisrael kept mevatel these mishamshim. They're also bahana. But if the goy was mevatel that elil, then those become mutarim. Then those those decorations become mutar. Okay. Someone goes to let's say he buys a container, right? He gets they sell it happens that there are containers which for some reason they leave by the port. No one claims them, and so there are people make a business out of it to resell. Whether they don't know they don't open the container, you buy a steel container and whatever's in it, they get. So you buy a steel container, so pure shivik matras. This is talking about you buy junk. Let's say it's something like that, right? Right? You got it from the Far East, boom, you found a bunch of elilim inside of it. If he gave money, but he didn't take it, he didn't moishech it. There was a din. Generally in the Choshen Mishpat of Maos Konis or not. So Maos Konis, we pass in Deraisa, money is koine by metaltalin. That if you give money, that it's koine. However, the Chacham said that you need Mashiach also, because maybe the thing or the money, whatever, in the meantime will get burnt up and someone's going to lose. So therefore, they said that Maos Edom Koinos. So over here in Nasa Mos below Mashach, and he didn't go, and even though we say Mos Konos by a goy, but in this case, we're going to say he needs Meshicha as well. Then he could just return them to the goy. V'chein im Mashach. Let's say he was Mashach, lo Nasa Mos. He said. You don't know if he's a. I don't know if it's. I don't know. It's. It could be you don't know if he's going to worship it. It's not his, or maybe he bought grutos, meaning it wasn't this guy. This guy was selling grutos. He didn't even know what was there. All right, so therefore he's not worshiping it. So if he's moshech, and he didn't. That's also the Shach says that's also a kinyan by goyim. It's again the Choshen Mishpat. Below nasa mos, and he didn't give the money. They set a price, but he didn't pay him yet. Even though we say that Meshicha by goy is koine by a mekach, let's call him mekach tos. And we say that he never actually made a kinyan on these avodah zaras. That the mekach tos, the way it works is the kinyan was never chal. That wasn't the intention, and therefore he never actually bought it. So therefore it's mutter to give it back to him. Nasa mos, because there's another problem over here that if you give it back to him, it looks like and he gives you back the money or things like that. Well, let's see. Nasa mos if he paid him and he was moshech, then you have to throw the elilim into Yam HaMelech or to any Yam you mabid them. So you destroy them. So because the point over here is really more of a maris ayin that if he gave the money and then he says, hey, it's mekach tos, and give me back my give me back my money. So it looks like he's selling avodah zarah. So it's a maris ayin that people think that he's selling the avodah zarah, even though the gross seems to be mashma. He doesn't understand it. He says if the koine, and it's that you can't just have it is a kinyan. Most is a kinyan. So therefore, why do you need Mashiach? He says he doesn't. It's Lashon Rambam. He doesn't understand it. So he says even if you just give money, l'chor, it should be, you should have the same problem. Even if they say mekach to give it back. But al chupanim, I mean, it's not so common. But if that would happen, then you could go ahead and try to get your money back for that. Dalid ger. The Oivik Kachavim Sheyarshu Asavihem, a ger and Oivik Kachavim who are Yorish. Is a din that by ger is Yorish's father. Shema Tachzil Asura, right? Maybe they'll go back to maybe they're going to go back to the way they were if they don't get their money. Say their father's like a businessman, like a billionaire or a president or something like that, and they want to be Yorish. So if they're not Yorish, their father, then maybe they'll just forget Yiddishkeit, and that's a problem. So over Yachal Hager Loimer Lo Ovi Kachavim. Yeah. Yachal Hager Loimer Lo Ovi Kachavim Tu Ata Alilim Lanimo. So you can tell, they can tell the brother, okay, listen, you take the Alilim, I'll take the most. Avad Mishabas Alilim the Rishus Hager. Also, he can misalik. There's Yesh Breimer B'Derabanan. So therefore, he can mevarer what he's getting. But once he gets it, then already it's in his Rishur, Zachaba, he can't, then because the Yerusha is only Durabanan, so you can do Breira on it. But once he gets it, he can't get rid of it. Hey, Oivi Kachavim, Oivi Mavate Elilim, Oivi She'ena Shalo, Oivi Kachavim can Mavate Elilim, even if it's not his. But Afilu Eina Oivi Lo Yisam, even if he doesn't, not Oivi this Elul, Afilu Bal Korcho, even if the Yisrael forces him to do it. He has to know about Avodah Zarah. A guy doesn't, he has some guy in the street, he doesn't know anything about it. But if you, if you have some guy from Africa or I don't know where, Indonesia, I don't know, whatever it is, wherever you're born, I don't know, whatever it is, and they know about Elilim, they can mevatel it. But a goy katan who doesn't really understand, doesn't know how about the Avodah Zarah, so he can't. Someone who's a shaita, someone who's not, he's an atheist. He doesn't worship, doesn't worship Elilim. He can go ger toishav, or he's a ger toishav. Even though they're goy, they can't mevatel because they have to understand the idea of creating a deity and then to mevatel that deity. Ishmaelim she'enam of the chachavim any yachol mevatel. You want to take you want to ask an Arab to go ahead and often around here you call one as a Shabbos goy, so you want to bring in a Avodah Zarah goy, he can't be mevatel because he doesn't worship Avodah Zarah, he doesn't know anything about it. The Pesach Tshuva says, Hu adin that Yisrael Momer, could be he can't, we said before he can answer it, that Yisrael Momer Shlodem Bezeh, that whether he can maybe it could be he can just like he can answer, could be he can mevatel also, but it's a bit unclear. We'll stop here. Have a Hakosh Sameach and Yosef. Yosef will be back and we'll give shir Sunday.